It's finally that time. We are taking a detailed look and review on these bad boys right here. I mean, they're just awesome every time. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and review on these bad boys right here. This is the Air Jordan 8 Aqua, a personal favorite of mine within the Air Jordan 8 lineup, even though the Air Jordan 8 is one of my least favorite of the entire series. Fun fact, it was actually my most hated until I actually got a pair during its first retro run all the way back in 2007. Fast forward to the YouTube years and they released in 2015. Oh, what did we get? Well, look at yours. Where's yours? Ooh. Show the shoes. Show the shoes. Bubsy. Do you see the shoes? Hey. Shoes. Can you show the shoes over there? Shoes. Okay, look at the camera right there. Look at the camera right there and say bye-bye. No. What? And then fast forward to 2025 and here we are. Another one. Now, before we deep dive into these bad boys, we just released another collaboration with the basketball brand Series Player Only, where they make, in my opinion at least, the best basketball socks in the game. So we've released some brand new colorways, a simple white and black look, an amazing white and red look, a really clean black and pink, a restock on the popular black and red, and then for all of you crew height lovers, we've got a black and red version of those too. There are 2 performance shirts available as well. The shirts are great though for casual or performance. The socks I would just stick to basketball with. They're a little bit thick, they got compression pieces on it, they're amazing. So if you wanted to support the channel outside of just supporting the channel itself here on YouTube, head over to Series Player Only and hopefully we'll see you in the gear on court. Now, the Air Jordan 8 Aqua originally released in 1993. They were worn on court by MJ himself in the 1993 NBA All-Star game that was hosted by Salt Lake City over in Utah. Now, as I said earlier, the shoe has retroed 3 times now, this being the most recent. However, this colorway is so popular that it's been used on multiple different models, including variations or variants of the Air Jordan 8. So I'm going to list a few of my favorites. They're not the only ones. So if you have your own favorite that might not have been showcased here, just leave it in the comment section and I'll check it out. But there is the Air Jordan 8.0 in the Aqua colorway. This actually was a performance style retro, not quite a Pro-Tro because they didn't look identical to the original Air Jordan 8, but instead they took what the Air Jordan 8 started and then they beefed it up for today's modern game with modern materials and all that stuff. The shoe was awesome. And yes, we have a performance review, not just on the 8.0, but on the original Air Jordan 8 as well. Believe it or not, they're not half bad on court. They are hot boxes, but they are pretty fun to play in. And then one of my personal favorites is the Air Jordan Fusion 8 Aqua. And I just love that this shoe and this line, the Air Jordan Air Force One combination, like amalgam, whatever, Frankenstein shoe, it triggers people, so have fun. There is a women's Air Jordan 8 Aqua. Obviously, it's a play on the original Aqua colorway, but it's not exactly like the original. It's more of a white-based shoe, but it does feature similar colors, and those have released twice. The Air Jordan 6 has borrowed the Aqua colorway theme, and so has the Air Jordan 38, but that was a shoe that was loosely based on the Air Jordan 8, so that makes sense. Those are just some of my favorites, but again, if you have others that use the Aqua theme, sound off below in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts. Now, the box is pretty standard. It's just a play on the original, so nothing really to write home about there. The shoe themselves look so similar to the last release that if you still have that 2015 edition, which I do, I can't find it, and it sounds bad, I know, I looked, I don't know where the I put them. It could be anywhere. But I will say that if you still have that 2015 pair and they are still wearable, which mine are, I don't see a real need for this pair, but it's really up to you. Some people like to have the newest version of whatever it might be and then they'll get rid of the old one. Some people like the changes that are made, and one of those changes to this specific model right here comes in the form of the midsole paint. The 2015 edition was just a heavier glitter. A lot of people did not with that, and I personally really liked it. It looked very similar to the original, which these do as well. They just don't have quite the, I don't know how to explain it. It's like the glitter is within the paint here, so it's like more of a car paint finish without the high gloss, whereas the 2015 pair looked like glitter was almost like glued to the midsole, you know what I mean? So maybe people didn't like the way that they used the glitter, but it is what it is. The only other difference is just the gray here. It kind of feels like it gets lighter every retro, whereas the original was a very dark charcoal gray, and so was the original retro release in 2007. However, I do feel that every version of the Aqua 8 just looks great, so I'm not like one to nitpick on this shoe. I just think that they're a fun colorway. I really like everything about these. Like, this is one of those shoes that just kind of screams 90s. And one of the features that screams it the loudest is actually the outsole. This is so fun, dude. Like, look at this. I would love some pants or a shirt with this graphic on it. I probably wouldn't wear the pants.
I was gonna say, I'd love to see you in said pants.
If there were some shorts like that, I'd definitely wear those. But yeah, I definitely wear like all black usually, but that's where the shoes come in. Like, this is the fun little pop of color, at least for me. However, for those of you guys that just love getting down in 90s gear, like, I think that this graphic right here would just look fantastic on apparel. It just would. The traction itself is very weird. It's not a traditional pattern. If anything, it's damn near flat, but there is texture to it, but it doesn't perform half bad. Like, this was one of those surprises for me when I went through the Air Jordan project years ago, when I started testing every single Air Jordan, starting with the Air Jordan 1 all the way through the most modern version. And yes, I was the first to do so. So yeah, hats off to you guys that have picked up the torch and ran with it. But either way, the performance wasn't half bad. You just got to break the shoe in. And again, they're real fun to play in. The midsole itself is polyurethane. Encapsulated within that polyurethane is a 4-foot air sole unit, as well as an encapsulated heel air sole unit. And yes, this shoe is board blasted. So that's the OG version of torsion support. This is before torsion bars, torsion plates, carbon plates, spring plates, and any plate that you can think of. So that's in here. I think it's cool. It's not a cheap feature or a sign of the product being cheap. Some people assume so just because they pull up the insole and there's cardboard underneath, but the original intent for that was for performance purposes. Speaking of the insole, it's this bad boy right here. It's real polyurethane. It's phenomenal. If anything, this might be the reason to buy this version of the shoe, because not only do they come with a real polyurethane insole, but they bring back the original graphic, and man, this is awesome. One of my favorite features of the Air Jordan 8 is actually this little TPU plate that's right here on the lateral side of the shoe. There is a smaller one on the medial side, and they're both affixed onto the upper for the same purpose. It's to keep your foot onto the footbed, especially during harsh movements. Those actually work in tandem with the Air Jordan 8's strap system. So this right here is one of those shoes that is really, really supportive, but really, really not breathable. Fun fact, this shoe gave MJ athlete's foot, so that's cool. But anyways, I just really like this version of the plate. There are actually two different styles, one that looks like this and one that looks more like an abstract piece of art, but I like the brushstroke look. I think that it looks super cool. The materials along the upper are very simple, but it's very in line with the Air Jordan 8. The originals featured Durabuck, whereas these guys right here feature a synthetic nubuck that mimics Durabuck, because that is a synthetic material. Whether it's trying to mimic leather or nubuck, it just kind of depends on which colorway and which upper they're playing with. But either way, the upper right here is synthetic nubuck, and I think that it looks good. The gray material that you see is actually suede, so if we're gonna say that anything is like premium feeling, it would be that. It's not like super premium, but it is very nice nonetheless. This particular one is a thicker, kind of like hairier version of previous releases, so I really like this. I think that it looks really good. And then the strap system is something that is controversial. This, as a kid, for me, was the reason why I did not love the Air Jordan 8. I just thought that the straps were just too much. However, there's a lot of people that think that straps are awesome. There's also a lot of people that think straps are just for kid shoes. So it really just kind of depends on your personal preference. The way that we would wear something like this, at least back in the day, was loose. And that means not strapped. The way that you would play in them, obviously you lock yourself in, but casually you untuck those motherfuckers and you just let them fly. 2-3 on the top of the straps looks awesome. This is the one thing of the shoe that I personally like. I like the way that it looks as is, but I've always wanted to know like how it would look if they did what they do with the black and reds or the playoff, whatever it is that you want to call them, where they actually highlighted the 23 in color. So like a teal and purple right there would have looked so cool. However, they do have a big splash of additional color right here on the tongue with the Chanel patch. And again, this right here just screams a 90s. Like, this was on a lot of apparel actually, like the little logo with the Chanel piece. And so yeah, I just really like the way that this is. I think that it's such a fun look for the shoe. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, you could do one of two things. You could go true to size. Most people would be good with that. If you wanted a super snug fit, you could go down half a size, but true to size for most is what I would recommend. The way that they fit, I think, is the most comfortable part of the shoe. So while the underfoot comfort might not be there, the around the foot comfort definitely is. You've got an internal Huarache style booty sleeve. It's just freaking awesome. So if you like that kind of thing, like if you like around the foot comfort, this is gonna be one of those shoes. This is gonna be perfect for you. And if you're in the market for a pair when they release, they'll be available at all Jordan brand retailers. And if you're local to the Sacramento and Elk Grove area, they will be available locally here over at Phenom. They have 2 locations, one literally in Elk Grove and the other one over in Sacramento at the Doco Shopping Center. Now, with all that being said, what is today's user submitted question of the day?
What do you think about all the people stating that low and 3/4 sneakers are causing all of the injuries?
I think that they're heavily uninformed and they might want to do some research. An Achilles rupture is an overuse injury, period. Like, there's no debating it. There's lots of actual real doctors on this platform who go over the injury properly. There's a lot of them that don't. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to create content and blame it on shoes or this, that, and the other. Don't listen to those ones. Go to a real doctor, dude. Brian Sutterer is awesome.
I was gonna say, shout out the one guy that I see you watch.
That's the only doctor that I f with on this platform. He's the only one that's like doing real shit. He doesn't do anything for clicks or none of that stuff. Like, he's legitimate. He breaks things down all the way to a muscular structure. He'll do it physically, not physically, but visually, I should say. He explains everything perfectly. And it's in such a way that everybody can understand. So it's like, there's no way to not understand this at this point. I mean, we're in the year 2025. If you don't know that an Achilles rupture is not caused by footwear, that's kind of like you purposely being ignorant. And that's basically it. So yeah, be careful. But with all of that being said, sound off below and let us know what you think about the 2025 edition of the Air Jordan 8 Aquas. Are you grabbing a pair? Maybe you missed out on the last one. Or are you passing on them because maybe your last pair is still good? Either way, I'd like to know. I think that it's a fun color no matter what. So if you don't own a pair, I would actually recommend them. And I don't say that often. There's only a few Air Jordans that I think are like, oh yeah, you gotta have at least one of those. This is one of them. Like, these are just fun. But with all that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for supporting the SPO and WearTesters collab as well. So if you've supported the socks, the shirts, whatever it might be, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. We will see you guys in the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.